every meeting that we would have, I would sing the praises of the Chamber of Commerce, which, you know, I'm preaching to the choir here because you all are members. If you're not getting out the door, just so you know. I want to tell you about one of our new member benefits that I don't think I mentioned last time. It's called Mystery Shopper. And this is a fun one. If you have a store or a business or a restaurant and you're worried or concerned about, you know, what goes on when I'm not around? Are they friendly? Do they have good service? Or are they just doing it because I'm watching? We will provide a mystery shopper service for you. We will do phone calls if you want to know about the phone etiquette of your staff. We will come into your business. We'll come have lunch at your restaurant. All you need to do is let us know. And we have different questions depending on the sector that we're secretly shopping in. And we will give you a full report. So that's a really great benefit. And the reason we did that was because, well, someone in this room had come up with that idea and asked us to do that. So we went forward with it as a new member benefit. I also wanted, before I introduce our hostess of the day, Alta, I want to tell you about a few events that we have coming up. The first one is October 5th, which is a Tuesday evening at the Convention Center. We will be having our City Council candidate forum. We have 3 people that are running. One is unopposed, Eva Jean Dalton, but she will be there because she knows that people have questions and want answers. And then we have Joe Rico, who is the incumbent, and Rod Hunter is running against Joe. So please come. We all are involved in this community. Our leaders are important, and we need to know where they stand on issues. So please come 5:30 on October the 5th. Then on October 28th, you can come in costume if you'd like, is our annual meeting that will be held at the Isla Grande Beach Resort, and it begins at 11:30. We will be honoring all of our volunteers, our committee volunteers, our boards. So please come to that. It's a great event, and you can go online or call the chamber office for tickets to that. And then November 13th is the return of the Holiday Gala. Yay! We're so excited. It's been on a hiatus for about 3 years. We've had so many people say, bring the gala back. It's such a wonderful event. And of course, it's a fundraiser as well. So sponsored tables are $850. You get seating for 10. You get wine. We have a wonderful band and dancing and a silent auction. So please contact us about sponsorships for that, and we hope to see you all there. The theme this year is a masked ball. And it's not a COVID mask. You can wear your COVID mask if you want, but we're talking a masked ball. So we're really excited about that. And then keep in mind that our coupon book will be contacting you all who have sponsored a page or bought the advertising in the coupon book. We will be starting working on that soon, and you will get an email. Make sure you watch all of your chamber emails. Read them. Read our wonderful newsletter that we have, because that's where you're going to get all the information. So again, glad to have you, and I want to introduce Alta Monroe. She is the chairwoman of our Government Affairs Committee, and they are the committee that put on these events. So Alta?
Good morning, everyone. It's so great to see everybody. And yes, I see your face and your smile. Thank God. Thank God. All right. Today we're going to find out from individual. Sorry, I have to stand in front of this. We're going to find out from hotel people, from retail people, from restaurants, different venues on the island. How was their summer? How was their summer? And so we're going to find out who did really well, who did marginally well, and who we need to pat on the back and maybe hug, depending on what kind of summer they have. So I do want to invite whoever might be interested in being a part of the Governmental Affairs Committee. We do meet once a month for lunch, and we discuss things going on in the chamber. So we invite you, if you have any interest in being involved, we do need a few more members. Call the office, the girls will set you up and give you the details. Okay, today is going to be the first. Everybody's going to get 5 minutes. So when I stand up over here next to you, know that you need to kind of have a closing. Except for Wally, because he's the last person. So we're going to start with Barry Patel. Okay, he's a long-time hotel owner. He's past mayor. He owns the Courtyard Marriott, the Garden, La Quinta, and La Copa. So I think he knows the hotel business. So have a good one.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Anita. It's great to be back here today. That public speaking, I haven't done this in a while, so I'm a little rusty. Forgive me if I mess up. But it's been quite a year. And from where we were in April 2019, when everything was, collapsing, to where we are today, I think the industry, our industry, has certainly taken a huge turn. But I can also, it's been a fabulous year for all hoteliers, restauranteurs, and everybody in the hospitality business. It's been a great year. Really, we didn't have to be a genius to make the business go up like 20 or 25% this year. So I can't say that, we've just done a fantastic job in attracting more people. I think the entire industry in the United States, hospitality industry has done tremendously well. And that's because of the pent-up demand from 2019 and the extra cash that everybody had in their pockets to spend, and believe me, they spent it. And then we kind of look at ourselves and see where we stand now and what the next 12 months are going to bring out. Although we're in a good place today compared to, I would say, in terms of business and our economy and our unemployment compared to many countries, we look around Europe and Asia and see how we're faring. And I think the United States and communities like ours are doing quite well. That's got to do with some great, good governmental programs that's helped our economy along and so forth. That's kind of stopped now. So what's coming up is what I think we are all focused on in the business community, at least in the hospitality business. So moving forward, there are many challenges that we did not have in 2019 that we will be facing going forward. Unemployment, finding people to work, people that have dropped out from the workforce and not coming back, and then the huge number of people that we've lost because they had losses in their families, and now they're not coming back to work, or they're coming back to work, they're not as efficient as they used to be. So what's the new paradigm? What's the new way of getting our people motivated? I think that's the next challenge that's coming up, and I always like to look forward, 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years, and see for our community what's going to happen. And that's the biggest challenge, I think, for us. Going forward, it's been a great year. I think the city coffers are full. As Ed will tell you, the CBD is doing extremely well. All our funds on South Island, our beach fund, it's got good research, so we're a strong community going forward. We have to plan better because I don't think this continues in the same way. It's going to be a little bit more tough, but I know we can succumb all those challenges in the coming months if we start preparing now. And I think most of us have. So I'll be given 5 minutes to speak. So I think my 5 minutes is almost, I don't know why Wally's last, because I wanted to be last. And thank God he's a masked ball, because after a couple of drinks, I think it's really Yeah, anybody have any questions, please go ahead. And I'm going to try to make this the best one, so I get a hug like all they were saying. But I understand what the best looking people get a hug, not the Go ahead, guys. Anybody have any questions?
How do you feel about your staffing? Are you finding that you're hiring people that don't have the training in the hospitality
mean, it's really been tough, and if you take my particular example, it's been different, because we've had a new restaurant that we opened up in 2019, December, and then we opened up another one in July of this year. So we had to do a lot of hiring, and I tell you, it's been tough. It's been very hard. You expect 25 people to show up for training, and then only 5 show up. You interview 50 people, you hire 50. You don't tell anybody what we'll think about it. You hire them on the spot. And we hire 50 people, out of that 20 show up for work, and 5 will actually make it. That's how it's been. So it's been very fun. I think that's why I say manpower and employment is going to be on this stuff.
What about wages? What do you mean, how do you have to adjust that also?
I think wages definitely has to go up. McDonald's is paying $15 an hour. We have to vet. And the work environment is also very important now. So if the environment is good, people will keep working and they'll do a good job. But if the work environment is the same as what we had in 2019, you're going to lose a lot of employees. It's just the fact of life today in the business world.
Appreciate all your comments, thank you. Okay, next is my business partner, Gail Hood, with the Padre LA team up at the Remax Elite office. And what are you going to talk about? Oh, I would have guessed.
Before I get started, there's somebody I want to recognize, and it's Courtney Hayden. She's been in business here on this island for 25 years, and this is her first day of retirement. She's also served on City Council and the South Padre Island Chamber for many, many years, and so she's one of those that needs the hug. Okay, I've been in real estate for 28 years now, and I think I have never seen a market like this. And I can see some realtors over there going, yeah, because it is phenomenal. It's just unbelievable. We're running out of inventory is the only reason it may have slowed down at all. But we're passing out right now some things that you can look at. First of all, this one. This is what's called the Market Viewer, and it's from the Texas Realtors website. And this is just South Padre Island, but one side is 2020 through July, and the other one is 2021 through July. And you will see that our median price on the island went up from $265,000 to $377,000. Now this does not include commercial. This is single family, condo, multifamily, but anyway, inventory went from 11 months inventory to 1.5. And I can remember some years back around 2000 or 2003 or whatever, we had 20, maybe 24 months of inventory. I mean, this is just unbelievable. So you can see on the chart, it has it by year. It also has it by month. Here you can see the difference in all the sales and days on market. And the reason a lot of those days on market and the days to close are low in 2021 is because sometimes if it was an out of area agent, it didn't get entered until it sold. So, that kind of brought those days down. But the median price per square foot in 2020 was $197.27, and in 2021 it's $277.58. So these are numbers from Texas A&M Research Center, and they gather this from all over Texas. So the other sheet of paper that I have is from the EDC, and these are sales tax numbers for South Padre Island. And you can see that sales tax numbers in 2021 were historical, unbelievable. And if you look on the other side, it's the hotel motel occupancy tax. And June was just unbelievable. And so anyway, those are some more data for you. So anybody have any questions?
So, excuse me. So what is driving this increase in volume and sales
Well-
in Black Creek?
If you look at the sales tax numbers, you'll see when the causeway opened after the pandemic had us shut down, we were just flooded with tourists and people coming to the island. And I think that, you know, cruise ships weren't sailing, people weren't traveling internationally anymore. We're looking for a place to go, some place to get out, you know, with their families. And so we have people from all over Texas, but primarily the valley that's here all the time. And if you're here on the weekend and you see the traffic on Padre Boulevard, you see a huge increase this summer compared to even last summer, which was really good. I don't know how long it'll last. Cruise ships are starting to sail, and you know, flights are going over to Europe now. So I don't, you know, we don't know, but we've grown a lot. We need housing. You know, there's still a need for somebody to come and build some houses.
What's the driving force behind real estate?
The top on the real estate itself. Well, I think that real estate itself, that people are just looking for another place to go. You know, they need a second home besides where they live, somewhere to get away. And they can work at home now more than they ever did. So we're finding more and more people come here and stay. They want their own place. If you're scared about the pandemic, then yeah, you want your own place. Yep.
Usually there's a lot of speculation going on also. So a lot of people getting better prices and better funds. Looking to sell that house or that.
Well, yeah, I think that people are diversifying and taking their money and putting it somewhere else from the stock market here. I don't know.
I just think that when you're heavy in the stock market and you're looking at the craziness of all of that, I think that real estate historically has been a safe harbor. And why not have a safe harbor and a second home that you can rent, you can use in the summer? And I think a lot of these people came to the island for the first time with their children, to homeschool their children in the condo. And I think, guys, I think we've been found. I think we have been a secret for a long time. And that's a double-edged sword. We kind of love the island the way it was, and I think a lot more of the companies will wear some of the island.
Any more questions?
What I wanted to ask you, do you see that there are people that are buying property that maybe this is the first time they've been here and
Yes.
they come back?
Yes, and I think SpaceX has affected our market too. They are bringing in employees, and even though that is a long way for them to drive, and, you know, they tend to want to be on that side of the causeway and in Brownsville so they can get to work, but we're seeing SpaceX people buy homes here. So too. Any other questions?
Okay, let's see who else we're gonna get now. Jerry Garrett, oh, okay, Jerry Garrett is the owner of Cactus Flower, so she's gonna talk about retail, really retail, people walking into the store and actually spending money.
Okay, so I never used my. They said it's only 5 minutes, so how bad, Is it? Okay, so I did run some numbers, of course, like Barrett said, and Gail said. furniture 200%, art, lamps, and accessories 70%, gifts and jewelry 50%, window treatments 85%, cabinets 55%, and flooring 45%. So that's all good. That's all great. And thank you so much to all the retail people for selling all that property. And then people want to make it better. So it's been really a joy this summer, and especially to meet a lot of new people that are first-time property owners at the island and see their excitement about being here and our community, and kind of remembering what it was like when I first came here 42 years ago. And I used to say, when you come to the island, nobody ever goes home on time because you just want to stay. You extend that other couple of days if there's any way at all. So thank you for that. There have been really great challenges, as you all know. One of the main things in my kind of retail business, and I'm sure others too, is the supply chain interruptions. So obviously you cannot have a 200% increase in furniture sales if you can't get your hands on the furniture to sell. So we're dealing with that. We're ordering earlier and deeper because we feel like the sales will be there. Some of my furniture vendors are at 4 to 6 months delivery. And that's been going on since, I would say, probably last March is when that really hit. Shipping is also a problem, so we wait 6 months for the sofa to get on the road, and then the shippers from North Carolina take 3 to 4 weeks. It's just crazy. But people are special ordering because they can see the quality that we have in particular, and they've been shopping. They really can't do anything better anywhere else. So that's good that we're all sort of on a level playing field. On the design side, the delays have been more manageable miraculously. So we've had minor delays in flooring and tile and some other things. Some problems with some contractors, some who had COVID, our wallpaper hanger passed away sadly, and some of those relationships that are 20 and 30 years long have been disrupted. But I think one of the great things about small business is we have the ability to adapt much faster than large organizations. So that's what we try to do. Staffing, like Barry said, has been a huge problem. Luckily, at Cactus Flower, I have a core of people that are so great, that have been here so many years, and they're still there. But we had some spots we really needed to fill. We're a very small organization, and when those slots aren't being tasked by someone, it's a huge problem. Our design admin position, for example, it took us 7 months to fill that. We went through 6 people we hired. One of them lasted 1 day and then filed for unemployment. So yeah. And there were some others that were pretty laughable too. But that person, they, he or she, got the unemployment, and we had to, protest. And of course we won, but still, it's just crazy, I think it's helpful that our governor has stopped taking the federal unemployment supplement in the state of Texas, because people would flat out tell us, why should I go to work? I can stay at home and actually make more money than I was making before. As Barry said, we've had pressure on the business to up our pay schedules, and in some cases, in order to get that really high quality person we need to participate in college funding and that sort of thing. I am happy to do that because we have the sales and the income to support it. I do worry if everything falls off a cliff, what's going to happen. Pricing and inflation. This is one of my biggest worries. We are seeing price jumps every quarter, actually. Companies that normally increase prices once a year are now, with Universal Furniture, I'm up to my 3rd price increase just announced for this year alone. On top of freight surcharges that run 7 to 8%. ocean freight problem. I don't know if you, how many of you are familiar with that, but yeah. So my feeling is, while sales are fabulous for all of us right now, inflation affects everybody, every industry. You saw what Gail said about the housing industry. Eventually, there will come a point when people won't pay or can't pay. And so, you know, you just wonder out there in the future, if we don't get a curb on inflation, where is that point? Where do we fall off the cliff? So that's one of my most concerning things, actually. And then I'm going to make one comment that maybe I shouldn't make, but I'm going to anyway. So, we have a closed border to Mexican nationals. And it seems insane to me that we are preventing people from coming to this country that have visas, own property here, bring in millions of dollars that support thousands of jobs. They literally have to fly into the United States somewhere, rent a car, and drive to the island. Meanwhile, the border is fully open to anybody else that wants to come in. I just think, as business owners, we want that Mexican market. We need it, and we might want to speak up about this. So that's all. Any questions? Thank you.
Excellent.
Good job, Jared. Okay, Mark, it's your turn. Our host has been so cordial and letting
Thanks for coming, folks. Not going to be redundant, I'm going to be short. I want to make 3 points, and they touch on what your previous speakers have been talking about. First, I was wrong about everything going into this pandemic. I mean, when you're told to shut down in the hospitality industry, you're going to develop a dire, outlook on how things are going to be. Doing like curbside, it was a panacea that just didn't, it was great to keep people on the payroll. It was great to try to pretend things were happening and, you'd still come to work. Those were the benefits. But it was a losing proposition, so we ended up shutting down a restaurant for 21 days in between curbside service. And when we did eventually reopen, we found that we didn't have employees come back. But the strong point of it was that unlike a lot of businesses, I've got a core group of employees, like a lot of businesses do, that did come back. And they really, the shortcomings of not having employees pulled extra weight. We had to trim, how we operated this business, going from 7 days a week to 6 days a week, operating at, percentage occupancy, change things. But again, so grateful, to have a core group of employees that, stood behind this business, and some of them have been here, for almost the entire time we've been open, 26 years. The next thing I want to touch on was that being in Texas, I'm from Minnesota originally, they were shut down for a lot longer. They were under a lot more restrictions, as were, a lot of states like California, New York, Michigan, and being in a business-friendly state, being on the island where our county was pulling jurisdiction, closing things down. I think our local government had the foresight to keep things open, keep our beach open, so people could at least get outside. It provided a time, in a time where there was so much uncertainty, something that was really super to have, having people being able to go to the beach during lockdown was, unheard of. And I mean, it was completely safe now that we, look back on it in retrospect. So, I mean, all those things, I was wrong going into it. I'm super grateful for the employees that I've got, and really appreciative of being in a state that was business friendly, in a city that had the foresight to, you know, keep things at somewhat of a normalcy, you know, even during these difficult times. I think what we saw, you know, even operating at a reduced capacity, we were able to post numbers that almost mirrored what the sales tax numbers were, you know, as far as increases. You know, staff shortages with operating at a percentage, not having staff to open up their neck upstairs during the summer or high season. So it was great. You know, it was really, you know, a good thing in retrospect to be in Texas, having an awesome set of employees and being humble enough to take your own. So, any questions?
Well, Wally James with Padre Getaways is going to tell us about rentals. And you have to hold it right here and kiss it.
Good morning. Let me say thank you to the Chamber for sending us all the business over the years that you have. I really appreciate that. I want to talk about short-term rentals for a little bit. We're Padre Getaways, and there are about, on the island, roughly 2,600 properties that are registered with the city that are involved with short-term rental. Actually, there's probably over 3,000 that are actually renting, but some of those are just under the radar that haven't been discovered yet. The population is made up by people that rent on their own, individual owners, or people that use companies like ours, Padre Getaways, where we have about 60 properties in our rental group. Kind of starts back in 2020 with the pandemic and the island being shut down, and then all of a sudden it opened up, and there was a flood of tourists here. Places that coming from places that we had not seen people come from before, really. A lot of people from out of state looking for a place to come and visit. We had the floodgates just opened up and it was overwhelming. This is the summer of 2020. And then we rolled into the fall and it continued because we had people that were working from home, doing homeschooling, virtual schooling. That continued to work well. And then the winter hit, and winter Texan business really fell off. Canada being closed, a lot of folks from the Midwest that didn't want to come here because of fear of COVID, didn't want to leave their hometown and so forth. So we didn't know what to expect in the spring month or also during the summer. Our consultants were telling us that, gee, this is going to be a really busy summer. You need to raise your prices, get ready for what's going to happen. And we were all skeptical of that. But indeed, they were right. This place just blew up this summer. We have never seen the kind of sales and revenue in the short-term rental business that we had seen previously. And the big switch here was from people staying in hotels to people staying in short-term rentals. Today, the revenue is split about 60-40 with short-term rentals compared to hotels and stuff like that. Now, whether that will continue or not, no one knows, but that's the current situation. That has created a lot of problems. The surge in business left many of us with not enough employees. And like Harry and others were saying, we can speak our people. Everyone I know needs people. And because they're just they're not there. Can't get to apply. The other problem that this causes is the issues that are created with short-term rentals and full-time residents on Southwide Drive. That's a problem. You might live in $1 million home, or you might live next to $1 million home that's available for short-term rental. And on Friday and Saturday night, there's 20 people in there that are partying until 2 o'clock in the morning. That's a problem, and we recognize that. And we're trying to do something about that as an industry here on the island. We've recently formed a Vacation Rental Management Association. There's an international VRMI, which we belong to and have for many, many years. We're opening a branch of that here on the island, where several of us are engaged in the short-term rental business, want to try to bring some sanity to what's going on, and and has some consistent standards and some rules of ethics that we as movers are going to be following. That is well on its way to being formed, and we should be having some announcements on that very soon. We do have a mission statement for the organization, and Elena has some copies of that if you'd be interested in seeing it. So the challenges are to be able to coexist as rental managers with residents here and try to be a really good neighbor and try to do things that are right, not overcrowding, recognizing that there are ordinances with respect to noise and things of that nature so that we will look like a good neighbor. The idea here is that short-term rentals are going to continue to exist. They're not going to go away, and we all need to figure out how to make it better for everybody. So with that in mind, any questions? Yes, Phil? It's just for vacation rental management companies. And there's some criteria in terms of how many units you have to be able to be a part of the board. I mean, if it's just a single entity, probably not going to be able to join. I don't know what the minimum is, that's still being determined at this point. There's about 12 companies that do what we do on the island where we have multiple properties. But there's any number of people that operate one unit and live here full-time, or maybe they live out of state.
So Molly, how do you see, we know that some of the short-term rentals that were actually for our island service workers have now sold and people are flipping them to become vacation rentals. So how do you think that's going to affect our worker, our job force for the island?
Well, I can tell you right now that there is a severe shortage of affordable housing on South Otter Island. And it's not unique to us, it's basically this way in about every resort city. Fortunately, we have some affordable housing that's not too far away, maybe in Port Isabel and such, but it has an impact because some of these properties have been turned into short-term rentals that were being used by people for full-term or long-term rental. The other thing that's happened, which is kind of interesting, is the fact that we all know real estate sales are off the charts, but many of the people that have bought these properties that were rental properties have said, we're not going to rent them. We're going to convert them to a second home, or we're moving here full-time, but we're not going to rent the place because we want it to be secure for our family. Don't want someone sleeping in my bed other than me, so it's not going to be rented. We saw our inventory drop incredibly. We had a lot of property for sale. We sell property as well. And we sold those properties, and they said, we're not going to rent them. They're going to be our permanent home, or they're going to be our second home. Any other questions? Thank you.
Well, it's been informative in all venues. Very interesting. I hadn't thought about the housing. Ski resorts have the same issue. And their problem is they can't bring them in by bus when it's snowed in, and then maids aren't there to clean the rivers. So it's across the board. I want to say that you can come to Coffee and Conversation on the second Thursday of the month between now and May. There will be online, we will have an outline of what the topic's going to be, and it's usually very interesting. With the turnout today, I think people feel like it's worth the hour of the morning. So we thank you very much for attending. We thank Mark. Mark, we can't say enough. Thank you. And I do want to say, are we still taking questions for the forum? Yes. Okay, so if anybody has any questions that they would like to suggest that are discussed at the forum, candidate forum, yes ma'am. Please get with the girls of the chamber and submit, I think we're taking 3 questions. We're taking 3 questions and then we'll kind of cull them out and discuss them. So we like that. Let's see, is there anything? Read the newsletter. I do want to say one thing. The chamber during the shutdown did a phenomenal
your phone.